In this chapter, we're going to discuss about the bending problem, and it will be divided into two parts. On the part 1, it's about the beam analysis, and the second part is about the frame analysis. What is a beam? A beam is a structural element that primarily carries bending. Either the load is under flexural or transverse. Beams are generally carry the vertical forces, and beams are categorized by its shape of cross-section, its length, the material used, as well as the type of supports, either the pin support, a simple support, fixed joints, or ball support, and etc. Beams are used in the construction sectors are typically made of steel, reinforced concrete, or wood. The most common types of steel beam used in many designs is the I-beam. In aeronautics, for example, beside I-beam, there are also several types of beam, for example, C-shaped beam as well as the L-shaped beam. In general, there are too many types of beams in this world. Here I listed several types of beams that are commonly used in many designs. For example, simply supported beam or the fixed beam. For this course, we're going to analyze or we're going to consider only three types of loading. The first one is a point load. The second one is uniformly distributed load. And the last one is coupled or the concentrated moment is due to the coupled forces acting on the beam that can create the moment or the torsion to the beam. In terms of final element formulation, as usual, the beam or the structure will be divided into several elements, and these elements are connected by the nodes. In this case, each node has 2 degrees of freedom, which is the vertical deflection and the slope or rotation. As mentioned, the beam only sustains or carries vertical forces. That is why in this case we only has vertical deflection and rotation. There is no horizontal deflection or displacement. As shown in this figure, in one element, it connected by node I and node J. At node I, we have Vi and theta I, which is dedicated to vertical deflection and the rotation, respectively. While at node J, we have Vj and theta J. So meaning to say, in one element, it has 4 degrees of freedom: Vi, theta I, Vj, and theta J. For example, in this case, when this beam has been loaded with load P at point B, therefore, we can divide this beam into 2 elements, which is element 1 and element 2. Element 1 is connected by node A and node B, while for element 2 is connected by node B and node C. At node A, we have vertical displacement VA and rotation theta A. At node B, VB and theta B, and node C we have VC and theta C. So in this case, without consider the boundary condition, initially it has 6 degrees of freedom. The final element formulation for a single beam element is developed by using the potential energy approach, which is very close or very similar to bar or the truss element. And for the K matrix, it will be derived by using the internal strain energy, which is similarly to bar and the truss element. As mentioned, the stiffness matrix of the beam can be derived by using the internal strain energy. So in order to expand this equation, we need to know the term for the stress as well as for the strain. To do that, let's imagine a beam that has been loaded will deflect something like this. So now, if we focus to this top corner, we can see that this corner has shifted to the left with U units. So if we focus to this triangle, we can define this U. So from this triangle, by using a simple geometry equation, we can define U is equal to y theta. And for a strain, we know that the strain is defined as du over dx, and theta is equal to dv over dx. So by knowing these two terms, we can expand the term for the strain. So the final strain equation is equal to y d2v divided by dx squared. For the stress, according to the Hooke's law, stress is equal to E times strain. E, which is the modulus Young. So in this case, the stress just need to multiply the strain with E, so that we obtain this term, E times y d2v divided by dx squared. So once we know the strain and the stress, next we can replace back into this equation and we obtain this term. By expanding this equation and rearrange it, we can have this arrangement. And for this term, remember from the solid mechanics, this term is actually the second area of moment, or I. So that when we rearrange this equation, we obtain the final terms of internal strain energy. So this equation can be expanded to determine the K matrix by identify the deflection equation by using the polynomial equation with 4 unknowns. So by expanding that polynomial equation, we can obtain the K matrix given by this equation. So this is the K matrix for one beam element. As mentioned in this chapter, we're only going to discuss three types of loads: point loads, concentrated moments, as well as the uniform distributed loads. For the point load and concentrated moment, it's very simple. We can just simply apply it in our analysis. However, for the uniform distributed load, we have to convert it into equivalent concentrated forces and moments at the related nodes. This can be done by using the potential energy due to the distributed load as defined as shown in this equation. By expanding this equation, the equivalent concentrated forces and moments at the related nodes can be defined as follows. Either you want to define in this term, in this way, or in this way. It's a similar equations. One with transpose, one without transpose. The first term here is dedicated for forces at node I. The second term here is dedicated for moment node I. And the third term is the equivalent force at node J. And the last one is the equivalent moments at node J. In this slide, it shows the physical interpretation of the uniform distributed loads when we convert it into equivalent forces and moment in one element. If the uniform distributed load is applied on more than one element, for example, 2 or 3 elements, then we have to obtain the equivalent forces and moment for each element first, before we assemble it in order to obtain the global forces and moment. To make better understanding on this problem, let's have a look on our example in the next video.